Yeah, I work for UCB. UCB is a biopharmaceutical company. We very much specialize in the research, development, and commercialization of innovative medicines in areas associated with immunology and neurology. And so I found that I've been doing a lot of coaching and particularly mentoring on an informal basis over the last few years. And what I really wanted to do was try and get a bit more structure and insight around what I was doing to make sure that I was giving best value that I can do, but also bringing a degree of credibility that I felt I was lacking. And so that's what prompted me to do a bit of homework as to how I might do that, and led me towards doing this course. So the fact that the NPD course offered the chance to achieve the level 7 certificate was a huge attraction, and indeed the starting point of my search. I did the virtual version, and that was largely because of the convenience of the dates being offered. And my bias going in was that I would have preferred face-to-face. And so I did have reservations about the virtual. Having done the virtual, I have to say it was by far the best virtual course I've ever done. And I would actually probably do it virtually if I was doing it again in the future. The pace was right, the structure was right, the ability to interact was great. And so it just worked fantastically well. There are situations almost on a daily basis with my team members where you find yourself being able to use the tools that could be applied to coaching and mentoring. And so I've used it in end of year reviews. I've used it in personal development discussions. I've used it in just regular weekly one-to-ones. If there's a business problem, then instead of wading in with my advice or my perspective on things, to be able to use some of the framing and questioning techniques has been really, really helpful in allowing us to much more fully uncover that business issue and find a solution. I think that if I was to characterize the benefits, number one is just to understand some core definitions, understand the difference between, for example, coaching and mentoring, whereas previous I would have seen those being much more blurred. I have a clearer idea now as to the distinction between coaching and mentoring. Number two is to have had the opportunity to practice and to role play and to build confidence in that regard. And that's something, by the way, that I'm not normally entirely comfortable with, but it was a big outcome from this course. And number three, and I've deliberately made this the third point because it's probably the biggest point, was just to get some tools in the locker to be able to learn some structures and some techniques that can be practically used on a day-to-day basis. And even though I did the course a relatively short time ago, I have already used those tools to great success in my day job. So it's been fantastic.